What's up, everyone? It's DSP, and this is part one of a video series that I'm going to make, basically discussing how I do my videos, the equipment that I use, and things like that. You know, all the time I get the question, Phil, what do you use to make your videos? How are they so good? How do you get such good game footage? How do you get such good quality when you're doing, like, your channel updates? We want to know everything about it so that we can make our own good videos. So what I'm going to do is in part one here, what you're going to notice right off the bat is that this video is not going to be in HD because obviously if I'm doing a video of my HD camera, I can't record it in HD. That would be pretty stupid. How would that happen? So this first video here, I'm going to basically record with a different camera, and then from there I'll probably go back to the HD camera to record everything else. I'm going to show you all kinds of things, like my setup, you know, the spacing, how I adjust things, and such and so forth. So for this first video, let's talk about the camera itself. Oh, let me get down here near the table. So this is my camera. It's the Sony DSC W290 digital camera. It is an 12.2 megapixel camera. I bought this camera right now. It's February 27th, I want to say, 2010. I bought this camera approximately 1 year ago. So it's really last year's model, but it was brand new when it came out. And the reason I got it, it was one of the few cameras that could do 720p quality video, but it could save it to a memory card, and rather than just save it to an internal hard drive. There are a lot of other HD camcorders out there. Like, I'm sure you've probably seen the ones that are called like the Flip and things like that. The reason that I stayed away from those is because those are limited to the internal memory usually. And that sucks because if you're limited to internal memory, let's say, okay, internal memory of, you know, several gigs, 8 gigs, let's say. Oh, great, so I record 2 hours of video. Now I have to stop what I'm doing, completely unload the videos onto a computer, and then, you know, start recording again. With a camera like this, you can buy separate memory cards to work with it, and that way, if your memory card's full, you take it out, put in an empty one, and continue recording without having to stop. And you could do two things at once. You could have your videos offloading to your PC while you continue to record. So this is the camera itself. It doesn't have too many advanced features. As you'll see, it has an adjustable lens like any other camera, and it has, you know, both. It's going to be very hard to focus on this, so bear with me. I'm probably not going to show you too much in the way of menus, but the camera has, you know, same features as most other digital cameras, but the movie mode itself, you pretty much just turn it to movie mode, you select what quality you want in the menus. One thing that I want to recommend to everyone is that when you do videos of a video game, set it to infinite focus, and every camera has this. I know you can barely see it. See, it's that infinity symbol right there. Set it to the infinity focus, because if you set it to like a different focus method, when things move on the screen, the camera will mistake what you're doing for like someone actually moving towards the camera with their hand, and it'll try to focus, and your videos will look blurry. And that actually happened to me when I had first started making videos. The key to really getting the best scene on a camera is every camera has different kinds of white balance, different kinds of scene modes. In this particular camera, it has several scene modes that I use, and you could see just by me doing that, you can't read the text, but you can see how the colors are changing. It basically adjusts your scene mode for where you are. And for me, one of the best modes, I believe on this camera, let me see, it was called Mode 3, Fluorescent Light number 3. So in this case, the camera thinks that it's looking at a fluorescent light bulb when it looks at your TV, and it adjusts the colors appropriately. I find that for gameplay footage, this is the best setting. I'm not saying this is the best setting on every camera, and I'm sure not every camera even has this mode, but that's what I use. What I find a lot is when I film video games, I need to lower. There's something called the image brightness and darkness. Usually you get adjustments to go left or right with it. I usually go down a little bit, because if you leave it on like normal, or if you go up, a lot of the times everything gets washed out and you won't be able to read text. If there's a scene that suddenly goes from like indoors to outdoors, the screen will get super bright in your face and you won't be able to see anything that's going on. But anyway, there's really not much to the camera. You know, it's really going to depend on the game you're playing. It's going to depend on the type of scene. It's going to depend on the TV. So unfortunately, I wish I could sit here and tell you how exactly to adjust your camera, but what I found is that it's literally different for every game. Some games will look better with different scene modes. Some games will look better with different brightness. It all depends. And so you kind of have to fuck around with the camera a little bit when you start recording a game. Now, a lot of people say, well, you know, how is your setup? How does it work? Well, as you can see here, I've got a pile of camera accessories. Let's get this out of the way. It's not this camera. This is the pile of camera accessories I have for this camera. And right inside of here, I have a memory card and a memory stick. But besides that, I have 4 additional memory batteries and a shitload of memory cards. Now, all these bigger ones don't work. These were actually from my old camera. But as you see, I have 2 right here. So I basically have 2 backup 8GB memory cards and another 8GB memory card inside. And I have 5 batteries. And the reason I have 5 batteries is this. Even though every battery says it's going to last, you know, oh, it'll last 2 hours, 2.5 hours. It's all a bunch of horse shit, all right? It never lasts that long. And as you use batteries over time, the batteries actually lose charge. So what you're going to want to do, if you're going to be serious about doing a game playthrough, or if you're like at an event and you know you're going to be filming a lot of videos back to back to back and you don't want to have to wait to go charge a battery, you're going to want to buy spare batteries. Now, the problem with that is that the battery is probably the most expensive accessory you can buy for a camera. In fact, if you go for the name brand Sony battery, and this is the special battery that actually on your screen will tell you how much charge and how many minutes of recording you have left, this is going to run you anywhere from $60 to $80. And no, I'm not kidding. So I have 3 of that kind, 2 here and 1 in the camera. Then you have this kind, which is not the one that tells you how many minutes you have left on the battery. This is a little bit cheaper. You can probably get that one for around $50. And this is the Joe Schmo generic battery. It's not made by Sony. It's not the name brand. This you can probably get for around $40. So that's right. On my table right now, I have over $200 in batteries just sitting there, if you can believe it. But it's worth it if you're going back to back, you know, in a playthrough. A lot of the times what I do on launch day is, you know, I play for 2 hours. Oh, this battery's out. I take it out. I go put it in the charger. I swap in this battery. I play for 2 hours. Uh-oh, this one's out. I take that out. I put this in the charger. And by the time I'm about halfway through this battery, the first battery that I put in the charger is now fully charged. So I can usually play off of 5 batteries. I can probably get anywhere from, say, 8 to 12 hours of straight gameplay. And I know that's crazy. A lot of people are saying, who the fuck plays 8 to 12 hours straight? I haven't done it much. I've only done it for about 2 or 3 games so far, like Modern Warfare 2, Assassin's Creed 2, and I believe Mass Effect 2 I did that. But only those 3 games have I ever done that, because I knew they were going to be, you know, games that I wanted to finish. And so if you're going to do a marathon like that, you need multiple batteries. Now, I've never been in a situation where while playing and with 5 batteries playing and constantly charging when they run out, that I've completely run out of batteries. That's never happened. So I guess, you know, the moral of the story is have enough batteries to account for how long you want to play. Each battery roughly will last about an hour and a half. And then the funny thing about that is each battery actually equates to 1 8GB memory card. This is an 8GB card. No, again, the fucking camera is not focusing, so you can't see that it says 8GB on it. But 1 camera battery roughly equates to 1 8GB memory card, meaning you can probably store about an hour and a half of footage on a memory card. So you figure, okay, well, if I have 5 batteries, do I need 5 memory cards? Your answer is no. Because remember, the memory card doesn't need to charge. It doesn't need to sit in the charger to charge and get its charge back. All you need to do is unload the videos from it and load them back on. So if you're okay with waiting like 15 minutes when your memory card fills up just to do that, then you only need 1 memory card. But if you're not okay with that, or if you're like, again, you're on a trip, you're somewhere where you're afraid, you know, you don't want to have to stop recording to go unload stuff before you can start recording again, you're going to want to buy multiple memory cards. The good news is that unlike the batteries, the memory card price tag has dropped dramatically in the past couple of years. You can get an 8GB memory card of pretty much any format for around $30 now. So, okay, you know, $60 for 2 memory cards, that's not bad, considering you're going to be recording probably 3 to 4 straight hours with just those 2 memory cards. So that's it. The only other thing that I have that's an accessory for the camera, there's 2 actually. Let me show them to you. Unplug them here. Ugh. This is the battery charger, and basically it plugs into any power outlet, and you just pop the battery in and it charges it automatically. The other accessory is this. This is a USB adapter for the Sony style memory cards, and this is the adapter because I use the smaller, the mini style for this camera. This puts it in here so that it works better. If you don't, sometimes your small memory card can actually get stuck in there, which actually happened to me once, which really pissed me off. I had to use pliers to get it out, so I bought one of these larger adapters so I don't have to do that. It just extends the length of the slot. This is what you use to load the videos onto your computer. Another really quick thing before I end this video, file format. A lot of people ask me that. It all depends on your camera. My Sony camera records in .mp4s, which is a QuickTime format. It works really well with some things. It works well with video editing programs. It does not work well with a lot of these video sites, unfortunately. But luckily, YouTube does work with it. So, alright, that's pretty much it for just the basics of the camera and what I use. So, next video, I'll be talking a little bit more in depth.